All right, son, thank you so much for having us here at the beautiful Anahan Wharf Village. Can you tell me why you chose to enter real estate?
Why and how I got into real estate. So I got into real estate for multiple reasons, but two biggest reasons. One would be my mom and her personal experience with real estate. And number two would be a past customer from my previous business. So with my mom, we're an immigrant family from South Korea, and she came here with almost nothing. And she worked really hard to be able to buy her first home, a condo in town, Kiyamoku, very close to the freeway. Leasehold, you could hear the freeway from our condo. It was on the ground floor. Okay. And I think she bought it for about 70,000 or 80,000 at that time in the 80s. And what had happened was the neighbors would start chanting at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was right by her bedroom, so she couldn't tolerate the noise. And so she decided to sell about a year later. And at that time, even though it was leasehold, she made almost double her money. And so that allowed us to our next home. And my sister and I were, she was in elementary school, I was in middle school, and all we wanted was a house with a pool. So that was all we begged for, a house with a pool. And she was able to find a leasehold house in Kailua in Enchanted Lake on a 8,800 square foot lot, 4 bedroom, 3 bath, with a pretty big swimming pool. And so we bought that and enjoyed the home for many years. And then 9/11 happened. And so after 9/11, actually, I had already been that was when I started my first business. And sort of, hired my mom as one of my employees. And we did well for the first year. But after the terroristic attacks of 9/11, everything plummeted. So my income went from whatever it was to zero, like within days. And we were stuck at zero because tourism completely stopped. And Waikiki pretty much was empty, as you can imagine, back in 9/11 after the attacks. And so we had trouble paying our mortgage, and we were being threatened for foreclosure. And at that time, because my mom's English was not all that great, I had to negotiate with the mortgage company in my early 20s, not knowing how you even get a mortgage or how that works. I had to negotiate with them to try to save our house. And, thank goodness we were able to negotiate a deal where we took our default portion and put it towards the end of our mortgage and saved our home. And that allowed us more time. But because we weren't sure of how our income was going to be looking like with our business being stuck there, the mall would not release us from our lease. And so basically I used to work like open to close 12 hours a day every day because I was stuck and I had to let go of my employees. But anyway, we did save the home. And we put it on the market for $390, I remember, and it didn't sell. It just sat on the market. So we took it off the market and we lived in the home for several more years. And lo and behold, the next time we put it on the market, and I think it was about 3 to 4 years later, it sold for $790,000. So 390 to 790. And I realized that my mom made more money through home ownership than she did in her life savings, right? And so that just kind of opened my eyes to the benefits of home ownership here in Hawaii. And then secondly, after Waikele, my other business, I had a small business with my aunt at Ala Moana Center. And I was there for about 10 years. And it did really well. It was a franchise. We were probably top 5 in the nation of 110 stores or so. But I had lots of regular clients. One of them in particular, I remember because she would come like almost every week. And she was the sweetest, and she shopped with me for several years. We actually sold like crystal hair accessories. So can you imagine someone owning more than maybe $10,000 worth of hair accessories? Yeah. And so I wanted to get her the same like display case that we have so she can put all her accessories, because she probably had like almost her entire stock for her. And so I wanted to get her this display case. And when I told her, she said at that time, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I appreciate it, but I just live in a tiny 1-bedroom rental in someone's house and I don't have the space for it." And then my heart dropped. Like, but oh my gosh, you've been spending all this money with me. And that could have been applied towards your down payment to own your first home.
Right.
Because she was older than me. I think she was like in her 50s. And so that kind of really saddened my heart. And so the belief that I used to have in my business started to diminish. And so I wanted to get into real estate because I believe in it. I believe that it does good for people, to give them a foundation to build wealth, right? A sense of security. And so I kept wanting a way out of this business. And I really do believe what you focus on expands, because we received an unsolicited offer for the business, and we sold it at a pretty good price, which allowed me to get into real estate. You know, we don't make any money until we close, right? Pure commission only. I need to have the savings to live off of. I definitely had the passion and the faith.
Beautiful.